Hey, what's up, everybody? We're going to be working on some stuff that's not really specific to Payload CMS, but you know, it's close enough. So it's using data from Payload CMS, and we may actually get to something with it as well in the local API. I've been learning a lot about how to use the local API to do a little bit more, or even a little bit less. So the thing that I'm considering is using the select option in the Payload CMS, or sorry, the local API, and using that to only get the information that I need. So instead of querying a whole document, I can select just the individual fields that I want, like in GraphQL, for example. So we'll take a look at that maybe in this one. But for this, we're going to really just be figuring out how to get our table of contents to function like we want it to. So right now, it's just like it's in there. You click on it, it goes to the link, and it just like shows up, which is fine. I'm not too mad about it, but I'd love to have it like do a smooth scroll somewhere, and also to not show the, what is that? I mean, it's a hashtag, but that's just what we call it now. The hash mark is probably whatever. It's fine. I don't want that to show up in the URL bar, which just happens by default. So we can get started with that. We're going to be using useClient for some of this, which means that if we look over at our project here, this is the table of contents. It shouldn't be a problem to use useClient here. We're not using anything on the server side, which means that we should just be able to set these links to be whatever we need them to be. So let's get started, shall we? Well, first, let's look at the table of contents. What this is doing is when I click on this, yes, it goes to the section, but then we see the ID anchor in the actual URL bar. So I don't love that. Let's get rid of it. And that's going to be the easy part, because I do know we're going to need useClient, and then we're just going to use use state. I know that. So let's import use state. All right. So we're going to have clicked, clicked and set clicked. And so default is going to be false. And then we're going to have our clickHandler, and that's going to then just go straight over here to a function where we can do, so clickHandler, we don't need to do anything with setClicked yet. We can just do preventDefault. And so why did that give, oh, that's not what I want. Oh, do I need an event? Probably. preventDefault. So now, if we go to our A, we can hit on click and then do our clickHandler. And then this is going to be for a numbered list, which that is. So when I click on our content without media blog section, nothing happens. So that's interesting. Okay, so let's do it this way. Let's do the whole thing in this. So I've done this scroll in a bunch of different ways, but let's do it this way, where on click, we're going to do our clickHandler. Yes, we're going to have our preventDefault, and then we're going to, I think what's happening is when it's preventing the default, it's preventing all actions. So we're going to do our window, our scrollTo, and then set our top to be our document dot get element by ID. And then we want our location. So let's see what happens here. So first we're going to need to do equals location. All right, let's finish typing this out before I get back to the offset type. Top offset, which we're going to set here, top offset, and that's going to equal, we'll say 117 pixels for now. We have to assign it to a const, of course. So now we have object is possibly null. Yeah, whatever. And then we want to set our behavior to be smooth. I think I just need to do this a little bit differently. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. And I don't need state for this. So we're just going to get rid of that and on click. And we're going to use effect instead. And then let's set our dependencies before I forget. So we're going to do document query selector all that include a href, and that start with an ID identifier. And then for each we're going to for each anchor, we're then going to add an event listener, anchor dot event, add event listener. And then we're going to add the click event listener with a function of e. Then we'll prevent default, which what I thought was going to be the easy part. And then we're going to do window scrollTo. That gives me an X and a Y, but that's not what I want. We'd like to go top, which is going to be our document dot query selector. And then it's going to be this dot get attribute href dot scroll height offset top, and then we'll set it to like 125 pixels. We'll see what happens there. And then set our behavior to smooth, refresh, load this up, which that's not going to give me anything because that's not right. Let's go to future blog. There we go. So now we have table of contents that goes down, but that's too many pixels. Set this. So I don't think I need any offset top. The offset should only be for if the nav is there, but we don't have our nav being sticky. So yeah, there we go. So that offset height or offset tape, offset top is just for the size of our nav bar. So that is all good, which means we're okay here. So we have our table of contents, which now you can see up here in the URL bar. We don't have the ID identifier pop up anymore. And then it scrolls down nice and smooth there.